Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. How we doing, people? You know who's with me.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Up indeed, it's my boy Eric, and it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. We are on part 4, people. Reading and review, Cleric and Druid. We're gonna try to keep
Already on
this.
4?
Yeah, this is part 4.
Man,
Yeah, I know. A lot of
quick.
reading, people. We're on page 18. That's how much reading Eric's had to do.
Sometimes I haven't done this much reading since high school.
I know, man. So, for those of you who are new to the channel, thanks for stopping by, and you know that you have 3 other videos to catch up on. Average
Yeah,
lengths of these videos are about an hour, but we should probably get these under 45 minutes for this one, because we're only doing clerics and druids, and I'll only
yeah,
limit
cutting it
myself
down.
to 1 story per race, per
One
class.
story
1
per
story.
class.
Real quick, now that you guys have all been forewarned that this is a long video, um, I want to thank the 30 to 35 people within the first week that watched this videos. It seems like majority of them are consistent. So thank you guys all. We appreciate support. Hit the like button if you're enjoying it, and become subscribers. So you don't miss a video.
Or
All right.
story.
Yep. So now we got everything out of the way. Let's start.
All right, we're gonna start with character classes. Oh, you want to read the little
Yeah, I
forward?
kind of do that. The
Got
descriptions,
excited,
functions, the levels. Oh, what's the monster manual? Yeah,
right?
that gets away.
All right. Character classes, descriptions, functions, levels. Character class refers to the profession of the player character, the approach you wish to take to the game, how you believe you can most successfully meet the challenges which it poses, and which role you desire to play are dictated by character class or multiclass. Clerics principally function as supportive, although they have some offensive spell power and are able to use armor and weapons effectively. Druids are a subclass of cleric who operate much as do other clerics, but they are less able in combat, and more effective in wilderness situations. Fighters generally seek to engage in hand to hand combat, for they have more hit points and better weaponry in general than other classes. Paladins are fighters who are lawful good, see alignment. At higher levels, they gain limited clerical powers as well. Rangers are another subclass of fighter. They are quite powerful in combat, and at upper levels gain druidic and magic spell usage of a limited sort. Magic users cannot expect to do well in hand to hand combat, but they have a great number of magic spells of offensive, defensive, and informational nature. They use magic almost exclusively to solve problems posed by the game. Illusionists are a subclass of magic user, and they are different primarily because of the kinds of spells they use. Thieves use cunning, nimbleness, and stealth. Assassins, a subclass of thief, are quiet killers of evil nature. Monks are aesthetic disciples of bodily training and combat with bare hands. Each class is detailed fully in succeeding paragraphs. It is up to you to select what class you desire your character to be. Selection must be modified by abilities generated possibly by the race of your character. The following tables will enable you to determine the major differences between character classes at a glance. Specific comparisons must be done in light of detailed information given in the sections which discuss the individual classes in question. Note that non human and semi human race characters who are multi-classed are typically bound by the limitation of the thief class only. That is, a fighter magic user can benefit from both armor, weaponry, and spells. A fighter thief is limited by the constraints of the thief class. So here we have oh,
Go ahead.
going on going on to the character class table, hit die, spell
Wait,
ability, and
hold on.
class level limit.
So before you go on to that, um,
Mhm.
a lot of people are looking back into the OSR, and those of you who don't
Also,
know, you're doing the OSR. So, um, whether you want to play by first edition, advanced, play by second, or do what me and Eric and I are going to pretty much probably end up doing is looking at every edition and cherry picking everything and then creating some kind of mishmash and that's probably from that point on, it's gonna be our D&D game because you know, I don't know about 6th edition, and I really have to take a wait and see. So for those of you who
I
are
don't.
like looking at other systems, you know, a lot of people are jumping to the OSR, so this is a good way to learn the rules.
Oh,
All right. All right, now we did our public announcement. All right, character classes, table one.
okay, so we have the cleric, which has a hit die of D8. Maximum number hit die are 9. Yes, they have spells. Class level limit is 0. None. No class level limits. Druids also have a D8 hit die, 14 number of maximum hit die. Spell See, okay, check this out though. I mean, look at that. So the maximum number of hit die for a cleric is 9. Once you get to ninth level, you're only getting your con bonus, if any, after ninth level, where druids can get 5 more hit die, even though they have a lower level limit at 14, which is the great druid.
Yeah, they'll get into that when we get
So
to the cleric table.
yeah,
But
that's pretty interesting. So fighter has a D10 hit die type, 9 hit die maximum, no spell ability, no class level limit. Paladin also has a D10 with a 9 hit die max as a spell. Yes, they do have spell ability, clerical spell ability up to 4th levels, first gained at ninth level with no, yeah,
ninth level.
yeah,
I forgot about
with
that.
no, yeah, with no level limit. Yeah, they start getting cleric spells up. They got to wait till ninth level.
Oh man.
Rangers have a D8 plus D8. Ranger begins with 2 hit die for first level. Remember that?
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta
They
look
get
ahead on the
they get
pages.
2d8 first level. Yep. They get a maximum number of 10 hit die plus the one for first level, and they get spell abilities at where is that? Druid spell abilities up to 3rd level, first gain at 8th level, and then they get magic user spells up to 2nd level, starting at ninth level for the Rangers. So Rangers were pretty badass,
You
dude.
know
Rangers
what?
are
I
hardcore.
remember that now because
Yeah.
as I was getting refreshing
My
my memory, excuse me,
uh-huh.
you had to
Yeah, my
roll
uncle.
semi high to meet all the
Mhm.
requirements to be a ranger.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's why.
That's that's why. Remember we were talking about why you gotta be so high in this, why you gotta be so high in that. Well, that's why.
Yeah,
My uncle, when his main character was a ranger. That guy was badass, dude.
the rangers are kick butt.
Ain't no joke. Then the magic user, D4 hit die or D4 hit die with a maximum of 11. Spell abilities, no class level limit. Illusionist, also a D4 hit die, maximum of 10 hit die with spell
That
ability
sucks.
and no class level. Yeah, no class level limit. The thief is a D6 with 10 maximum hit die, and the spell ability for a thief, it gained the ability to read magic user and illusionist scrolls starting at 10th level, 12th level for assassins. And the assassins get a D6 hit die, 15 maximum. Wow, they get the most so far. 15 maximum hit die for the assassin. They also, like I said before, they get the 12th level ability to read magic user and illusionist spells from scrolls. And they have a class level limit of 17, the Master of Assassins.
Yeah.
Now the monk gets 2d4 hit die at first level. They get a maximum number of 17 hit die, the most of any class. They have no spell abilities, and their class level limit is 17, the Grandmaster of Flowers.
So real quick, after I forgot to hit the page over, um,
Man,
so 17. Look at that. 17 is the maximum hit die. So you're looking at all these different classes. They have their pluses and minuses. Every level, the monk gets maintained whatever he's getting, right? No penalty. As
yep.
opposed
Uh,
to assassin stops at 15, thief stops
no, but
at
but watch
10.
this.
then it goes 10,
Hey, so
10, and, 9, and then, the druid was 14. Um,
yep.
you still got bonuses, and we're gonna get into that when you get to the classes, like +2 and all that, or +4,
So
whatever.
look at this though. What the maximum number of hit die for the assassin is 15, right?
Yeah,
Their max level is 14. Where does that extra hit die come from?
question. Find out where we read the assassin. Or somebody made a
These sneaky
clerical error
motherfuckers.
that nobody paid attention
Not
to.
not to be confused with the cleric of the holy nature.
Yeah. But monks, another thing, D4 plus D4. So average hit
At
points is like
2d4.
5 to 6 to start out with.
Yep.
They wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that they
Mooks
weren't.
have always been kind of squishy at the lower levels.
Yeah, they were.
All right, so we're gonna read the real quick the little side notes for table one. I kind of went over it as we read it, but for the explanatory reasons, we have class of characters self-explanatory. Multi-classes have been omitted, but certain facts pertaining to them are given hereafter. Hit die type shows a type of die rolled by a character of the appropriate class at each level of experience he or she has gained so as to determine how many hit points the character has. Multi-class characters determine their hit points as follows. Now, when you're multi-class characters, you roll the die appropriate to each class of characters professing. Total the sum of the die roll and adjust for constitution. Divide the total by the character's classes, 2 or 3, dropping fractions under a half, rounding fractions of half or greater upwards to the next whole number. The derived quotient is the number of hit points the multiclass character gains with the rise in that experience level. That was rough, dude, especially
So,
doing like fighter mage, dude.
well, here's my thing. It's like, so if at first level and you're an elf or whatever, and you're like, well, I'm going to be a fighter mage, you were a fighter. You started out as a fighter and a mage at the same time. Is that
Correct.
at
Yep.
and both at
Yeah.
first level, and then you have to split your hit points.
Yep.
Unlike
You
fifth
roll a
level,
d10.
where once you level up past number first, then you can go. Well, now I'm gonna switch over to another class.
No,
They,
they are always divided evenly,
yeah,
even if you can no longer advance in that particular class. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that
So, like,
note.
say if you were a fighter of, you're like, I don't like that rule. So yeah, you're a fighter mage. You roll d10, you roll a d4. Say you rolled a 2 and a 6. That's 8. You add your constitution. Say you were real lucky and had a 16 con.
Yeah,
That was what, a plus 3, I think? One, two. No, that was a
correct.
plus 2.
Yeah, plus
16
2.
was plus 2.
Yep.
So that's 10, and then you divide that in half. So you started out at 5 hit points.
Which is
That's
pretty
pretty rough
good
for a
for a
fighter.
wizard.
Yeah, but rough for a fighter,
You're
dude.
average for a fighter, so that's not bad.
Oh.
But you have to have a high constitution to make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
are like
Yeah,
balancing that
the
right. Can you
offset,
imagine
yeah,
that?
the offset those, yeah,
Oh
that's
man,
crazy.
dude, I kind of want to play first or at least go to second edition, man. Now that we're reading
We'll
all
see.
this,
We'll
I
see
really
how it
do.
goes as we read through it. We'll be like, I don't know.
I know. If you
So,
stay within the contents of the old school adventures that were set for these books, then it's not an
mhm,
issue with anything, you know, in the sense
yeah,
of everything's powered up.
yeah.
That's
What
another
that? That's
video.
what
We'll put
second
a pin
edition
in
came
that.
in.
I'd rather save the time for story time. All right, max number of hit
Right, story
points.
time. Max number of hit points assumes that the character has no racial limitations to prevent rise commensurate with the number of hit die. Note that additional hit points are still gained with increase in level, even though no additional hit dice can, in those cases where there is no class or race level limit. Well, wait a minute. The hit points are still gained with increase in level, even though no additional hit dice. Oh, I see what they mean. So you still, because you will find out later when we get into the DM's guide, that's what determines what amount of hit die creature you are for saving throws.
Yeah.
You're still rolling dice for hit points, but you can be as a cleric, you can count no larger than a 9 hit die
Then the
creature.
assassin goes up to 15.
Yeah,
Gets a
yeah,
bump on that.
okay. Okay, so that's what I forgot about that.
Yeah, dude, it's been
Spell
so long.
ability simply indicates whether or not the character is able to employ spells. Class level limit tells how high in levels a character can progress in the class in question. As shown, most character classes do not have any upper limit, though racial limitations might affect non human or semi human characters. And table 2 is the armor and weapons permitted.
Was so
Now, I'm just going
jacked.
to go through.
How
Dude,
many
I
people?
love these. I
I know, but
love
I
these
mean, how many
limits, dude.
people actually stuck to the letter on these? We'll get into
We
it when
did.
we get to
Yeah,
the
we did.
magic user. But go ahead, cleric.
Yeah. Yeah, you can fuck around. Cleric can use any armor and any shield, but can only use clubs, flails, hammers, maces, and staves. They can use oil so they can light fools on fire, and they may never use poison. This prohibition on poison is strictly for clerics who are not of evil alignment. The latter may use poison if permitted in campaign by the referee. So if you're an evil cleric, you'd be like, I'm poisoning bitches.
Yep.
All right, the druid can only wear leather armor,
Yep.
only use wooden shields, and can use clubs, daggers, darts, hammers, scimitars, slings, spears, and staves. It may use oil, and it is questionable of whether or not they can use poison. Like that, pretty much
Yeah, it's up
they
to the
left that up to the
DM.
DM.
The other
Yeah,
thing was too. So even in first edition, I do remember my DM allowing druids to wear scale mail.
that had to be organic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
like
hide
lizard
armor.
scales or
You know,
dragon
that type
scales.
of
Hide
stuff.
armor, yes,
Yeah,
but hide armor came in the second edition, I believe.
yeah. But I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
people were still using it in first. They were just like, okay, cool, but I'm still wearing some
yeah,
dragon armor that I had made from the red dragon scales. It gives me
yeah.
resistance to fire.
Fucking your dead dragon. All right, so the fighters can use any armor, any shield, and any weapons, but characters under 5 feet in height cannot employ the longbow or any weapon over 12 feet in length. So that means your short ass dwarf cannot use a longbow, any weapon over 12 inches, and those under 100 pounds of body weight cannot use a heavy crossbow or pole arms in excess of 200 gold piece weight equivalent, including two handed swords. So, F your halflings running around with two handed swords. Sorry,
Okay.
halfling.
Um,
And they, oh, what?
I can't hold it. I have a halfling story, and it came to
Oh,
this. So
oh,
my
shit.
halfling, um, he rolled he rolled his max. I rolled like an 18 for strength on my halfling,
Man,
and the max was whatever. I'm trying to look it up real quick.
16.
16. Is that it for a halfling?
A halfling male.
No, it says possible for elf. 17
Really?
is the male. So I rolled an 18,
Oh,
and
okay. No. Oh,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he let me swap that out with with a score of like a 16 because I can't I can't remember what it was, but I remember
Yeah.
he let me swap it,
Mhm.
and so I had 16, and then I got gauntlets of ogre power for my
Oh, son
halfling
of a
fighter,
bitch.
right?
Yeah,
And
that's magically enhanced.
yeah, so what I did was when it came to my height, I went to, I made sure that I was like the highest
A
height
tall
that a
fellow.
halfling could be. Yeah. And the highest
Yep.
of that, and I kind of push a little bit. And I
Uh-huh.
carried a long sword across my back. And it was dragging all the time. And my team's like, you know how ridiculous you look? I was like, how ridiculous do I look? And so he drew like he couldn't really draw that well, but he sketched out a little halfling, and then he drew this giant sword that was always the hilt was always dragging on the ground. That I had to kind of he said how to like tilt um forward to grab it and then pull it out. And I said, well then that's what I do. And then he's like, "You
That's what
can't
I
have a
do.
shield." I go, "I got a butler." he was like,
A buckler.
he was like, he was like, "You know how ridiculous you look?" I go, "Fine. You know what else I could do? I carry it samurai style. I just carried it in my hand. I'm strong enough to
Oh
carry it in my
shit.
hand. It's just like, oh man, you're killing me, dude.
Everywhere I go, I'm
Yeah,
brandishing
everywhere I
my
gotta go,
sword.
I could have just carried it in my hand if you want to be like that. And so he's like, fine, whatever. You have your long sword that you carry in your hand, and you have your buckler on the same hand that you carry it. And so I was always dropping my scabbard. And
Oh jeez.
he was like every opportunity that he had to role play where like ogres or something, looked at me and laughed, he would spend a couple of
Uh,
minutes doing that, role playing that. And then my character would get mad and then I would chop him up to
chop him to bits.
bits.
Oh shit.
Dude, it was funny.
What was his name?
I know he was something giant slayer. Um, it might have been something like Marcus or um can't remember. I remember the giant slayer part. I remember I added that.
Marcus the Giant Slayer.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I can't remember the name. And he was a fun class. He died around 6th level.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So he went a little bit, dude. I was chopping up giants and ogres and trolls and
Sixth
anything
level,
big. I
little
killed
Marcus bit it.
um I mean, with the party, we killed a chimera, but the chimera was taking down like the majority of the party, and it was like me and a thief who were left. They took out the wizard. We tried to do our best to try to protect him, and I was the one after the thief got his little backstab in there, and I think the chimera. I want to say he missed his save on some kind of like um special poison we had found that it
Mhm.
paralyzed. So he failed to save on that, and so then the thief and I got, like, 2 extra attacks, and we were able to finish off the chimera. And it and for, like, the first 3 levels, I didn't have a +1 longsword. After when I got to 2nd level, I'm like, "How come I haven't found a magic sword yet? A magic,
This
like,
is second
longsword?"
level.
And then he was like, "Oh, no." Like, "You found a +1 short sword." I go, "I told you I was not
Uh,
taking the short sword."
I don't want no short
Yeah,
sword.
I was, like, mad when I said it.
Old pouty.
I was. I was
Old
like a
pouty
10-year-old
Joaquin.
kid. I was like, "I told
I
you
want a
I
longsword.
don't want a +1 short sword." He's like, "Well, that's what you found. You rolled it on the chart." And I was like, "Let
With
me
your
see
little
that
fists
chart."
on your hips.
Yeah, and he was like, "Let me see
Your
that
little
chart." He's like,
fists
"I
on
can't
your
show
hips
you
and
the chart." I was just, like,
oh
looking at
Jesus.
him, all mad, drinking my soda.
Ooh.
I remember that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
God,
That's hilarious. All right,
go
back to the
on.
fighter.
I couldn't help it, man. When we were about to do this video, I'm like, "I gotta tell my hunting story, dude."
I gotta talk about Marcus the Giant Slayer.
Yep.
So where we at? We're paladins now who can use any weapon, any armor, any shield, and any weapon with the same restrictions. Uh, they can use oil, but they can never ever use poison.
Never ever.
Yeah. Rangers can use any armor, any shield, any weapon, and oil. And question for poison.
If it was
Magic
like off a
users,
animal or something, I could see the DM like not having a problem with.
I think it was a moral thing. That's why it says the paladin can never do it.
No, no, I'm talking about the ranger. I could say
No, yeah, but it's still like I think it's a moral issue
the moral issue if you
because if
shoot a
you,
person with it, not to shoot monsters.
oh yeah, you what? That's even worse. Poor little animals. Magic users can use no armor, no shield, and can only use a dagger, dart, and staff, and oil.
Oh, I always use
Illusionists,
poison. Did you as a mage?
as a mage, no.
What? You gotta get an
Nope, I
edge somewhere, dude.
no. I
I
was
found
let
it. I
everybody else
used it
die.
with. I shared it with a thief or the. We didn't really have that many assassin characters,
I
but I
ran
always
the
share it
most
with a thief.
cowardly. I ran the most cowardly magic users. Once I was out of spell slots, that was it. I was running and hiding.
What are you, Cringer? That's
Yep, that's why more often than not I was a magic user thief, so I could use up my spells and then run away and hide.
a short bow
Yep.
or
No,
sling.
no, fuck that. Nope,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
we'll
even use
find
a
that in a
short bow. I
second.
was hiding. Illusionists can also wear no armor or shield and have only dagger, dart, and staff and oil. Thieves can use leather armor, no shield, club, dagger, dart, sling, and only short, broad, or long swords and oil, maybe poison. Assassins can use leather armor with any shield, any weapons, any weapon, and with oil and poison.
Yeah,
And a monk can wear no armor, no shield, and only use bow sticks, clubs, crossbows. Crossbows, where the hell did that come in? Daggers, hand axes, javelins, joe stick, polearm, spear, and staff.
yeah.
So
So
those are the. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, usually mages and illusionists and clerics were allowed to use like the light crossbow. My DM allowed
Uh,
that. Did you guys?
really?
Did
In
you guys
first
break that
edition?
rule?
No, no, you couldn't use that shit.
Why not? The
You
perfect
guys are too
weapon
busy.
for a mage.
No, but mages don't use weapons. They use their spells as weapons.
We're talking first. We're talking. This is first edition. You casted one spell per day, and then you
Yeah.
just sat around
And
and
then you
said,
know what? And then your ass went and hide.
"Yeah, see, at least this way you get a light crossbow
No, you had darts.
and
You threw
throwing
darts at
daggers,
people.
and at least a
Yep.
brace of like 6 daggers that you were throwing."
Yeah, you were when combat came around, your spells were done, you were done. The life of a magic user.
Excited by that.
Man. No, okay. Now on to the actual classes themselves. Beginning with the letter C and cleric.
Hold on.
What do we got, Joaquin?
The cleric,
Oh
cleric
yeah.
table one.
Evelyn.
Yeah. So, real quick, I didn't have a picture, and then Eric's like, "You need to put a picture in here." And go ahead and talk about this artist right here.
So this is an artwork by Larry Elmore, who's one of the big famous four artists. Larry Elmore, Keith Parkinson, Clyde Caldwell, and Jeff Easley. And this one is Larry Elmore here. This is Evelyn, the life giver, and she's basically resurrecting her companion here after he apparently got pummeled by this giant walking away, and that giant's giving that kind of over the shoulder look, like, yeah, you puny humans better stay over there.
Oh, he's
Yeah, it's classic Elmore. It's one of my most favorite paintings by him.
well, the Hilljack gave him that look. He's like, "F around and find out what happens."
Yeah, I want to find out, fool. Hope she has another resurrection spell memorized.
I know, like he's even looking like, "I don't give a
Yeah, it's
damn.
like,
They're no threat to
say
me."
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're no
say
threat to
something.
me.
Hill giant fool.
Yep.
All right, and thus begins the cleric. As has been stated previously in the section detailing character abilities, the principal attribute of the cleric is wisdom. A character must have a minimum wisdom ability score of 9, 13 if multi-class half-elven cleric, but 9 if multi-class half-orc cleric. If wisdom ability is higher than 15, the character adds 10% experience awarded to him or her by the referee. Example, a cleric gains an award of 975 experience points from the dungeon master after a successful adventure. Because a character has a wisdom ability score in excess of 15, then he or she adds 98 experience points, goes through the math formula, to 975 for a total of 1073 experience points. And it's funny, they don't put the XP here, they put EP for experience points. Of course, a cleric will benefit in other ways by having a high wisdom score. He or she gains bonus spells from a high wisdom as well as better chance to avoid the effects of certain magical attacks. High ability scores in strength and constitution are also desirable for a character of this class. and a good dexterity is likewise of benefit. I'm sorry, this class of character bears a certain resemblance to religious orders of the knighthood of medieval times. Cleric has an eight-sided die per level to determine how many hit points he or she has. The cleric is dedicated to a deity or deities and at the same time a skilled combatant at arms. The cleric can be of any alignment save true neutral, depending upon that of the deity the cleric serves. That was weird. Weirdly worded.
Yeah.
All clerics have certain holy symbols which aid them and give them their spells. All are likewise forbidden to use edged and or pointed weapons which shed blood. All clerics have their own spells bestowed upon them by their deity for correct and diligent prayers and deeds. The study of the spells usable by clerics will convey the main purpose of the cleric. That is, the cleric serves to fortify, protect, and revitalize. The cleric also has a limited number of attack spells, some of which are simply the reverse forms of curative incantations. Note that all spells must be spoken or read aloud. In addition, the cleric has the ability to wear armor, carry effective weaponry, and engage in hand to hand melee combat with a reasonable chance of success. Another important attribute of the cleric is the ability to turn away or actually command into servitude the undead and less powerful demons and devils. The undead are ghasts, ghosts, ghouls, liches, mummies, shadows, skeletons, specters, wights, wraiths, vampires, and zombies. These creatures, as well as demons and devils, are detailed in AD&D Monster Manual. The matrix showing what effect clerics of various levels have upon such creatures is for use by the DM only. As a rule of thumb, a cleric is effective against any undead monster whose hit dice are not greater than those of the cleric. Only high level clerics have any hope of driving away or influencing demons or devils. Only humans will normally have clericism as their sole class, thus, they are the only clerics with unlimited advancement in level. Clerics have nearly a good. Clerics nearly has a. Oh my goodness. Clerics have nearly as good a prospect of success in melee combat as fighters, the best in such situations. They move upward in combat ability in steps of three ability levels. Similarly, they make saving throws against magical and poison attacks in like steps. Clerics can employ a fair number of magic items, including most potions, clerical and protection scrolls, most rings, some wands, rods, and staves, many other magical items, and all non edged, non pointed magical weaponry. As they are able to wear armor, clerics can employ all forms of magic armor and magic shields too. When a cleric achieves 8th level, patriarch or matriarch, he or she automatically attracts followers if the cleric establishes a place of worship. If a building of not less than 2,000 square feet in floor area with an altar, shrine, chapel, etc. These followers are fanatically loyal and serve without pay so long as the cleric does not change deities and or alignment. These followers number between 20 and 200, 2d10 totaled and multiplied by 10. In addition, there will be followers who are men at arms, and your referee will relay the types and numbers of the appropriate time. Upon reaching ninth level, High Priest or High Priestess, the cleric has the option of constructing a religious stronghold. Here we go.
Yep.
This fortified place must contain a large temple, cathedral, or church of not less than 2,500 square feet on the ground level. It can be a castle, a monastery, an abbey, or the like. It must be dedicated to the cleric's deity or deities. The cost of construction will only be one half the usual for such a place because of religious help. If the cleric then clears the surrounding territory and humans dwell in his area, there will be a monthly revenue of 9 silver pieces per inhabitant from trade, taxation, and tithes. So, yeah, you get high enough level, you can start your own military church.
Oh,
So, the cleric tables, I'm going to go through the experience points, levels, hit die, and the titles for each of those.
real quick. For those
So,
people, if you did hear a dog barking in the background, that is Eric's dog, Min. And
so let me explain what happened. He came over here while I was reading. He woke
yeah.
up. And apparently, I was reading too loud. He came
Oh,
up over here and he glared at me I got up, got his old ass up off the couch, hobbled over here, glared at me. I didn't look at him. I was reading.
Yep.
I was like, no, you need to go. And I watched him from the corner of my eye as I was reading. He walked over to the stairs. He went upstairs and he pushed his way into the bedroom, got mad, and started barking at nobody. That's how he lets you know that he's mad. He goes upstairs and he barks. There's nobody up there. Nobody but us ghosts. And he'll go upstairs and he will bark at nothing. That's how he knows that you're mad. That's how he lets you know that he's mad.
Yep. Opinion is spoken, people.
Minion's mad. Now he's all quiet. He's like, I have spoken. Now I'm going to lay down and pout in my bed.
Poor Minion.
Or he's probably kicking my pillows all over the floor.
Yeah. Like cutting a fart on your pillow. He's like, I can't wait till he put his head on it.
Go rub my butt on his pillow. Oh, that dog.
Gotta love him. He's
All right,
15-year-old, people. So, or a pit bull.
15-year-old pit bull. You don't see those anymore. Yeah, he's a spoiled one, that's for sure. He had chicken nuggets today for lunch, so that's why he's on a roll.
Mm.
All right, so experience points. So up until 1,500 experience points, you are a level 1 cleric with 1 hit die and the title of acolyte.
I love this part of the game. Before, sorry to interrupt, but I love that they gave the titles. They don't do that in 5th edition.
Yep. No, they don't. Nope. I'm going to bring titles back. I'm bringing it back. So from 1501 to 3000 is second level, 2 hit die, and you are now an adept. 3001 to 6000 XP is 3rd level with 3 hit die and the title of priest. 6001 to 13,000, and here's where it jumps. 13,000 XP is a 4th level, 4 hit die, curate. 13,001 to 27,500 is a 5th level, 5 hit die cleric with no title. You still have the curate title.
Yeah, you're still a curate. Yep.
Yeah. 27,501 to 55,000 XP is a 6th level, 6 hit die cannon. 55,001 to 110,000 XP is a 7th level, 7 hit die llama.
A llama.
Llama. Oh my god. 110,001 to 225,000 XP is a 8th level, 8 hit die patriarch. 225,001 to 450,000 XP is a 9th level, 9 hit die high priest. And then 450,001 to 675,000 is a 10th level. And then your hit die becomes, because you're max at 9, so it's a 9 plus 2 hit points with a 10th level high priest. 675,001 to 900,000 is 11th level, 9 plus 4 hit die high priest of 11th level. 225,000 experience points per level after each additional level beyond 11th. And you are always a high priest, followed by the level that you are. And clerics gain 2 hit points per level after 9th. Now the spell charts, I'm just going to read down the level and then how many per level they get.
So real quick,
you have
I'm trying to remember the rules on that. So are you constantly, so at 12th level, you go back to 9 plus 2, or is it 9 plus 6? Are you getting 6 hit points? And then,
you get 2 hit points per level. So at 10th level, you are 9 hit though, you get 2 hit points.
Yeah.
And then whatchamacallit, 11th level, you gain 2 more.
Okay, so that's 4. And then my question was 12. Are you now at plus 6?
Yes, but you would still only get 2. The 6, the 4, the 2, the 4, and the 6 are cumulative. So it's not like at 11th level you get 4 hit points. No, you only get 2. But it counts as 4 because you got 10. You got 2 points at 10.
I think I did that wrong.
Now, but you also, if you, yeah,
I think I did that wrong as a kid.
Yeah, so you only got 2 points per level, but if you were fortunate to have Constitution bonus,
yeah,
you would get that each level.
Yeah, I'm glad they took that away.
I liked it. Hardcore.
It is hardcore. Save or die.
Yeah, save or die. Bitches got soft.
They certainly did.
No, they did, dude. I'm telling you. People, they got Spoiled. Spells usable by class and level. Okay, so clerics. Level 1 cleric has one level 1 spell. After that, you better be swinging that mace, fool. Second level, two level 1s. Third level, two level 1s, one level 2. Fourth level, three level 1s, two level 2. Fifth level, three level 1s, three level 2s, one third level. Six is three first, three second, two third. Seventh is three first, three second, two third, one fourth. Eight is three first, three second, three third, two fourth. Ninth is four first, four second, three third, two fourth, and one fifth. 10th level is four first, four second, three third, three fourth, and two fifth. And then 11th is five first, four second, four third, three fourth, two fifth, and one sixth level if you had a 17 or greater.
Really get the magical items
So
up.
this is going all the way to 30th level. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through these. They go pretty fast. So 12th level is six first, five second, five, three, two, and two sixth. Mind you, these are all depending on whether or not you have a 17th or greater wisdom. 13th level goes six, six, six. Four, two, and two. 14th level is six, 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 five, three, and two. 15th level is seven, 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 five, four, two. And 16th level is seven, 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 six, five, three, and one seventh level, assuming that you have an 18 or greater wisdom.
Yep.
At 17th level is 8, 8, 8, 6, 5, 3, and 1. 18th is 8, 8, 8, 7, 6, 4, and 1. 19 is 9, 9, 9, 9, 7, 6, 4, 2. 20th level is 9, 9, 9, 8, 7, 5, 2. 21st is 9, 9, 9, 9, 8, 6, 2. 22 is 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 6, 3. 23rd is 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 7, 3. 24th is 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 8, 3. 25 is 9, 9. I think we're beginning to see a pattern. I don't think there was more than 9 spells per level.
Yeah. But
So you're maxed out on spells up to 5th level, 8, 6, 4, 7th. 26, you're maxed out all the way across until 7th level. You get 4. 26th level, you're maxed out with 4 7th level. 27, you're maxed out with 5 7th level. 28, you're maxed out with 6 7th level. 29, you're maxed out all the way up to 6, and then you get 7 7th level spells.
so, real quick, by level 20, you're casting about close to 50 spells a day. I mean,
Yep,
you are like
you are
a
messing fools
healing,
up.
just doing whatever.
Yeah,
So, part of your group who were like the fighters, rangers, or whoever, their job was to protect the mage because they knew and the cleric or the heavy spellcasters like um the mages and
magic
illusionists
users.
and
And, yep,
clerics and druids, because once they got up in level,
it
they
was
were
just
casting
blasting
like
fools.
all these spells, and that's not on top of what like wizards and illusionists usually did, was prepare all kinds of scrolls.
Yep,
I was
yeah.
constantly doing that. I'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna start an adventure," and it'd be about 10th or 12th level. I'd be like, "Let's see, what don't I really feel like memorizing, but I'm gonna have just in case." And so I would scribe all that before we even started our adventure. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
saved up the majority of my gold and stuff for, was like magical research and
That's
items
that
and stuff
shit
like
was
that.
expensive.
Hmm?
That's why they used to give away such a vast amounts of treasure back in the day because especially for magic users, man, spell research was hampering
Yeah,
to
and
say
not
the
only
least.
that, you divided up your gold, and that's how you got your experience at the end of whatever the
Yep.
session was.
Yeah, and
So,
gold, remember gold used to be experience too. If
hmm,
you got 500 gold, that was 500 XP.
if you were the only person who had that, yes.
Well, yeah, yeah, per person.
Yeah,
So say if you were a party of 5 with 500 gold, each person got 100.
yeah. And
Yeah,
so
that went towards the total.
before we go to the druid, uh, what's your cleric story?
Um, you know what's funny is I loved playing clerics, but for the life of me right now,
Had all week. 2
I
weeks.
know, and that's what I've been thinking of. Like the main characters I remember the most are paladin, a magic user. Yeah, because the cleric was already in one of our biggest ongoing adventures. Um, the cleric role was already taken. Trying to think, I can't think of. Yeah, I don't have. I'm telling you, I was a wizard. I was a wizard first and foremost. As I got older, I liked clerics. I prefer clerics now, clerics and druids now.
Yeah,
But but yeah, when I was younger, it was all about mages, man. Mages and
yeah.
wizards.
So then I will tell one. They're like, "Yeah, we knew that was coming."
So
So,
Marcus, the Giant Slayer's brother.
yeah, Perseus. So, I played a human cleric named Perseus who worshipped Athena. And,
Uh,
on his shield, he would have the symbol of the owl and was always preaching about wisdom and he'd like to get into fights with combats with his warhammer. And
mhm.
so, I would get in there with the fighter because, we got to wear plate and shield and, mix it up, cast a spell, mix it up. We're playing Vault of the Drow.
Oh snap!
And we had snuck into one of the outer houses, and I was like, we found some slave pins. And so I was like, we have to get these people out of here. And the rest of the players were like, what? No. Like, we don't got time for that.
Oh shit!
He's like, do you know how many houses there are? They all have slaves.
Mhm.
And so, like, even the DM was trying to convince me. He's like, Joaquin, just, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And I was like, no, this has to be done. Like, excuse me a second,
Mhm.
getting over this cough. Thought I'd turn off my mic. I said I was dead set on it. And so, I was 16th level, 16th, 17th, or 18th, around there. But I know I could cast one first level cleric spell. And so the spell that I had chosen was Earthquake. I was like, yeah, we're in the vault, we're underground, it's gonna happen. And
Earthquakes
so
for you.
yeah, so um I started to tell the slaves that if they come with us, that we're gonna get them to the what were the gnomes' name? The Sullivan or whatever?
Spurfneblin.
Devnevelin. Yeah, the deep gnomes.
Spurfneblin, yeah, those are the
Surfnevelin.
deep
Yeah.
gnomes.
So we had met up with some Surfnevlins,
Oh, I
and
love that.
we had like a rally point that we could always come back, and then they would guide us through some other secret tunnels and stuff so we could rest. So we were
Uh-huh.
going in there to scout, and I was just dead set on like freeing like 40 slaves, and th- and and those were just the slaves who were like human elves and dwarves and halflings and gnomes and stuff. Like they had bugbears and all kinds of other things, and I just told them they could just take
Fuck your
whatever
bugbear.
they could take these arms 'cause they were weapons, and they could
Uh-huh.
fight for their freedom. So I told them, but if you do this, you have to convert to Athena, and I started preaching about Athena. And so my DM just looked and he goes, "Okay, fine." Um, he rolled a little percentage dice, and it was like 75% said that they would convert to worshiping Athena if we were to free them. And I go, "Come on, we got to do this." And so they're like, "Fine." And so we're sneaking out, and by then we've already killed like some of the household guards and other things. So the alarm has already gone through the rest of the house, and now all the big dogs are coming out from the house.
Mhm.
And so I already had planned it out. I was like, I'm gonna cast Earthquake. And so the DM goes, Joaquin, I think I was only like maybe 16th, maybe 17th. But if you look at the earthquake spell, which we will get to, but I have it flipped open. It has a diameter of being 1/2. So it was only 8 feet diameter that I could cause something to happen. And I was like, oh, because that only mean like a little part. If you just put yourself in a circle and then go 8 feet out, that's all you're gonna have of the earthquake effect. You know, and
Mhm.
this is 10-year-old Joaquin who had no concept of that. I was like, "Really? I can't do more?" And he's like, "Nope." I was like, "Hmm." And so I go, "Oh." So I grab my favorite cleric item, the necklace of prayer bead. And I had rolled the 18. So I call Athena and I ask her for her help. And so, she comes down, right? And we rolled a percentage and he rolled it and he rolled it under. And so an avatars of her came down and says, "Why do you summon me?" And I bow down. I tell all of them to bow down too. And I was like, "Mighty Athena, they, these slaves here, I'm freeing them, and they're converting to your worship. In your name, I ask for more power to aid me in my earthquake spell to cover our escape." And so while I'm doing this, like, my group is kinda like, "Yeah, yeah," because they're all hyped and stuff. Like, even the DM's, like, building up to it now. He's like, so you see the
Uh,
drow, and they're coming in on flying carpets, and
Oh
they're
shit.
riding spiders, and they're starting to come over the walls as you guys are bracing, and, she, he goes, "She smiles as in approval, and you feel this power," and he let me cast it not only as, like, a 30th level, the equivalent of that. But he put the radius of like 50 feet. I was like, 'cause he just really like explained it to me because he's like, it's from here to
uh,
this part of till you hit this part of the street. It's about from the porch to 50 feet. And I was like, we're all like, yeah. So I cast it and I'm dropping the cave is starting to crumble down, cave in. He let me have like all the effects where like fissures are opening, buildings are crumbling down, and I'm standing there with my hammer is just glowing, and the party and everybody's starting to retreat, and we're taking like some spell attacks and stuff like that, and a few of them hit me directly, and he was
uh,
like, "You're invulnerable right now." And you don't feel any of it. We're talking like magic missile spells and stuff like that. They're hitting me with everything, and I'm just standing there, with my hammer up in the air, and it's all glowing in this brilliant light, and my symbol of the owl on the shield is like so bright. He said they can't even see it anymore, but the image is kind of out, glowing out, and I was like, yeah. And we got
man.
out, and we eventually go back to finish off the adventure, and
Mhm.
Oz killed me.
Uh,
At
oh.
the very end.
Oh.
We ended up defeating her because she ran away, but we that's
Mhm.
the most we could do to her. We couldn't kill her because once she had dropped me, um, they only had limited healing, and it was
Yeah.
like that's a story for another day. But to be able to like cast this spell, but nowadays most DMs know how to really revel and allow something cool to happen. But
Mhm.
for little kids who are like 10 years old, dude, just imagining all this, and he's pretty good that way. He's really descriptive and describing how the rocks are falling and all these,
Mhm.
giant spiders are being crushed and the drow are being crushed, and they're all running when they realize they can't stand up to the might of Athena. and they're laying down curses at me and my god, and you know, and then afterwards
Oh God.
he was like, "Don't be surprised if you didn't draw the attention of Loth herself." I was like, and like the whole group was
Hmm.
like, "Whoa!" Like, "Uh oh," you know.
The bugbears are like, oh shit.
Yeah, so that was cool, man. I will never forget
Yeah.
that just because of the way he described it and
Hmm.
allowed he pretty much broke every rule, because even at 20th
Yeah.
level, it's only a 10 feet diameter. So for him
Yeah.
to
It's
just
kind
say you
of.
cast it at 30 and expand it even wider and just, you know, I like the estate, I brought down half the estate. Like it was just all in like all these guardhouses, supply, some of their like buildings where they lived in, that was all gone. Just-
Yeah, the way they did measuring back then is just it was very limited.
so I was just like, I'll never forget that. Yeah, because I was Perseus and I was like, I'm gonna be cleric and not just seen Clash of the Titans. And I was like, I'm
I
gonna be a cleric called Perseus and I'm gonna worship Athena. And so, he let me know about Athena in D&D.
got
Cool,
murdered
man.
by Loth.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I got killed by
Damn
Loth. I mean,
druid.
they
It's
did
him.
resurrect me, but
Yeah.
I had to
Like,
sit
oh,
there
my
for like
adventure
20
gazer.
minutes as they finished out the combat. That's
Right.
boring. Just sitting there drinking soda, eating chips, watching them.
Ooh, all mad. I told
Yeah.
you I don't want a long sword.
He probably gave me
Told
a
you I don't
plus
want
one
a short
longsword.
sword.
Here you go. Here you go,
Eee.
you're a cleric.
Can't use that as a cleric,
Oh,
stupid.
I s-
Alright, on to the druid.
look at that. I know you got a druid story. Better have a
Oh
druid.
yeah, I got a recent druid story.
Nice. All right, so here we go.
Alright, the druid is a subclass of clerics. They're only absolute neutrals, doing good and evil, law and chaos as balancing forces of nature which are necessary for the continuation of all things. As priests of nature, they must have a minimum wisdom of 12 and charisma of 15. Both of these major attributes must exceed 15 if a druid is to gain 10% bonus to earned experience. It will be noted that the spells usable by druid are more attuned to nature and the outdoors than are the spells of other clerics or magic users. Nevertheless, druids serve to strengthen, protect, and revitalize as the usual cleric does. More powerful druidic spells, as well as their wider range of weaponry, make up for the fact that druids are unable to use any armor or shields other than leather armor and wooden shields. Metallic armor spoils their magical powers. In parentheses. They must speak or read spells aloud. Due to their involvement with living, growing things, druids have no power to turn or control undead, demons, or devils. The Druids can be visualized as medieval cousins of what the ancient Celtic sect of Druids would have become had it survived Roman conquest.
Oops.
They hold trees. Yeah, oops, damn Romans. Thanks for ruining Druids, stupid. They hold trees, particularly oak and ash, the sun and the moon as deities. Mistletoe is the holy symbol of druids, and it gives power to their spells. They have an obligation to protect trees and wild plants, crops, and to a lesser extent, their human followers and animals. Thus, druids will never destroy woodlands or crops no matter what the circumstances. Even though woods, for example, were evilly hostile, Druids would not destroy it, although nothing would prevent them from changing the nature of the place if the desire and wherewithal existed. In similar fashion, they avoid slaying wild animals or even domestic ones except as necessary for self preservation and sustenance.
So,
If Druids, see, I love all that old school like Druid
yeah,
lore. That's how that'll be my
I
story of
I
Mr.
didn't
Varys
did you guys
Bramblocks.
follow all those to the T? Like,
Yep, I did. That's
so
how I ran Varys.
if somebody
Him.
was like in my party and they're like, "Oh, I need to go chop down some wood or whatever."
Oh,
No.
you find the wood that's already been dead,
Mm.
the wood that has already been dropped from the tree,
What
and
about
people do that
hunting the
nowadays.
animals? Because like we had a druid and he would always
I was a
frown that
vegetarian.
we'd kill a rabbit or something to eat and he wouldn't eat the rabbit.
Well, it says for self-preservation and sustenance. My druids were always vegetarians, like Mr. Barris Bramblelocks. He was a vegetarian.
Yeah,
Ooh,
like I just thought it was just like I think they put too much hindrance on.
but that made the character that adds more character. You know what I mean?
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like back then when I was a kid, I was kind of like as a DM, like just kind of loose with it. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
can't be burning down forests and doing crazy stuff, but
Burn down a
if it
forest,
was
see
an
what
evil
happens.
forest and like an evil treant and stuff or attacking people, I mean, light them up, dude. Even if it wasn't, attacking him directly, he would still, lead the charge in with a lightning bolt or something.
Ooh, lightning bolt a tree. That's evil druid shit.
He was a freaking evil treant, dude. He had to go.
Get
All
to
right.
go. If druids observe any creature destroying their charges, the druids are unlikely to risk their lives to prevent the destruction. Rather, it is probable that the druids will seek retribution and revenge at a later date as opportunity presents itself. Like when they make camp for the evening and they have several trains worth of chopped down logs from a sacred grove that, the druid
Oh,
may flip out and
yeah,
murder
you're in
them all in
trouble
their
there.
sleep. In connection with their nature worship, druids have certain innate powers which are gained at higher level. At third level, initiate of the first circle, a druid gains the following abilities. They can identify any plant type, identify animal type, identify pure water, pass through overgrown areas of tangled thorns, briar patches, etc., without leaving a discernible trail and at a normal movement rate. So
Oh, that
basically,
was
they can
cool.
pass without a trace.
Yep.
Yep. Seventh level, initiate of the fifth circle. Following ability powers, or the following additional powers are gained. Immunity from Charmed, cast by any creature basically associated with the woodlands, i.e., dryad, nixies, sylphs, etc. Ability to change from up to three Ability to change form up to 3 times per day, actually becoming in all respects, save the mind, a reptile, bird, or mammal. Each type of creature form can be assumed but once per day. The size of the creature form assumed can vary from as small as a bullfrog, blue jay, or bat to as large as a snake, an eagle, or a black bear. Each assumption of a new form removes from 10 to 60% of the hit points of damage, if any, the druid has sustained prior to changing form. So you get, a pretty good healing spell out of that too.
No, that was cool
Druids
because
have their own.
I'm sorry, like the shape
Oh,
changing.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
Um, like I had a druid character was like, well, I can't be a big dinosaur. Can I be a raptor? And I was like, I guess. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, he's like,
And that's what
yeah.
I tried to change in the other day on our last adventure, but I couldn't remember the name of the stat block. And I was just like, forget it. Yeah, being from the islands of Chuk.
Oh no, you cheater.
No, that wasn't cheating. He's from the jungle. They have dinosaurs. I seen them.
And Ravenloft. Go ahead.
Right. They're like, what is this thing? Oh, it's from my homeland, bitches. Druids have their own secret language and all speak it in addition to their other tongues, Alignment, Common, and others known. Upon becoming a third level druid, and with each level increase thereafter, a druid gains a language of his choice out of or choosing from centaur, dryad, elvish, faun, gnome, green dragon, hill giant, lizardman, manticore, nixie, pixie, sprite, and trentish. In melee combat, druids fight as clerics, but they do suffer somewhat from their inability to wear protective armor and metal. They likewise make saving throws as clerics, but against fire and lightning, they get a bonus of +2 on their die rolls. Humans can use those magic items not otherwise prescribed, which are for all classes, and those for regular clerics which are not written, i.e., books and scrolls. At the upper levels, there are only a limited number of characters. At 12th level, there can be but 9 of these nature priests. Each such 12th level druid is the leader of a body of lesser druids and will have an entourage of 3 of their underlings, the lowest in experience, Druid 12th level will have 3 aspirants of first level to serve him or her, while the highest in experience will have 3 initiates of the 7th circle, which are 9th level. Initiates of 8th and 9th circles are under direct supervisions of 3 Archdruids and the Great Druid, respectively. Above all other Druids is a lone figure, the Great Druid. The Supreme Druid is always attended by 9 initiates of the 9th circle. Note: it is possible that other henchmen and hirelings as well as worshippers will be found with any particular druid. All servitors of upper level druids are faithful protectors. They are not otherwise considered henchmen,
Yeah,
per
so
se.
you can have a Chiron as a friend, but you're not
But you ain't
riding him
mounting his
like a
ass and
mount.
riding him through the sky. Huh,
For those of you get that reference.
right? At such time as a druid class player character, what the heck? At such time as a druid class player character attains experience points sufficient to advance him or her. Oh, I remember this.
So
So as soon as they gain XP sufficient to advance him or her to Druid 12th level, the corresponding powers are gained only. If there are currently fewer than 9 other characters of Druid level, or the player character bests one of the 9 Druid level characters in spell or hand-to-hand combat. If the combat is non-mortal, the losing combatant drops to the exact number of experience points necessary to place him or her in the beginning of the next lower level. So you had to duel it out.
yeah,
Like you want 12th level, son? You have to come battle me. If not, then you'll either die or go down to 11th level. Yeah, it was rough back then.
yeah, but when it came to that, I kind of like always did it to per
Oh,
like force
you
because I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm looking
man.
over the
No, it's
map.
not.
I'm looking over the
You'll
map,
die, man.
and I'm like, there's one druid for this entire continent. Or I just said
Damn
this
right.
one map for this entire one great druid for the entire world here.
Mm-hmm.
And my DM was like, yeah, pretty
That's what
much.
made quests.
That's why,
That's what made quests.
I was just like, you know what? When I'm
Well,
a
you gotta go
DM,
find a great druid.
when I'm a DM,
Yeah, when I'm
I'm gonna when I was a little kid, like when I'm a DM, well, I'm gonna change some of these. Like, well, you can. It's
man,
your game.
that sounds that sounds like participation trophy shit to me.
I was always tilted when I was a little kid learning the rules. I was like, I don't like this
Like I
rule.
make my own rules.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
when I became a DM at the age of 10, dude, like I was still
Yeah.
playing with him, but at that point I'd already got the basic set. And
Mm-hmm.
I say by age 11, um, we weren't playing as much just because of him being in high school and doing other things. So
Yeah.
we would
And
occasionally,
hanging out with you kids.
yeah. So, but it didn't matter because now we had our own game going. With
Yeah.
kids on the
Also,
block and stuff.
whatever happened to your old DM?
I lost track of him, so I moved to Fremont,
No.
California, from San Antonio, Texas. It at
Mhm.
the fourth grade. Remember, that's where I started the fourth grade in Fremont, California. So
Okay.
from kindergarten all the way to third grade, I was in San Antonio, and that's when I met Jeff and Joey, and he introduced. If it wasn't for
Wow.
him, I don't think I would ever have really played the game or met or did any of that geek stuff like that.
Wow. And then, so when you got to high school, you just kind of lost touch.
No, we moved. So
Wait. Oh, when you were in 4th grade, I see.
yeah, at the end of the summer,
Uh huh.
like a month into to summer, we moved from San Antonio to Fremont,
Hmm.
California. It's like maybe like a month and a half or something like that before we had to start school. So we got,
Hmm.
we moved in, we started meeting people. I started meeting people, and then I got ready for school, dude, and go
So
to a
did
brand new
you found
school.
did you find like a new group there?
Yeah, eventually I made some friends in the neighborhood, and we ended up playing D&D. I goes, yeah, I play D&D. You guys want to play? And they're like, what's that? And so I explained it to them what
Oh
it was,
shit!
and they were all cool with it.
Wow.
That's where the majority of my stories come from.
Fremont.
Is like from Fremont, and then the early ones, like I told you, with Rao that involved my DM Jeff. It's from
Yeah.
San Antonio.
Oh wow. So after San Antonio, after you left, you never talked to him again.
No, like, I
Yeah,
wrote
this
I
was the
think we
days
wrote each
before the
other a
internet.
couple of letters, and then that was it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have his last name. Like, if I woulda had his
Oh
last name,
man.
I could've searched him up on
Right?
Facebook, man. That'd be great to have him
Oh,
on the
that'd be
channel.
crazy, dude.
Tell you what kinda character I was. Yeah, I remember
Right? That'd be
Joaquin.
cool, dude.
Always
Oh man,
always
that would be
complaining
cool.
about rules and what he would
Who's
do.
crying and said, wait till I'm DM.
"Oh, dude, I'll show you all."
Right? All right. So let's see. Where do we leave off here?
If the
Oh, if the
player
player
ca
character succeeds, he or she becomes a druid with full powers, and the former druid becomes an initiate of the ninth circle. So he gets all pouty and goes down a level.
Yeah.
The player character loses, he or she remains at lower level and actually has fewer experience
Yeah, it was
points in the bargain.
stupid, like, you lost level and you couldn't
No, man,
cast
that's hey,
spells.
better fucking get good, dude.
Oh, no.
Better get your shit together. Participation trophy. Say it like the what was who's that comedian who said test tube Robert, oh what's his name? Test tube baby's kids.
Isn't that
Oh I know his Robert something.
I don't
Roger
think it
no
was
Robert.
Robert, it was, the guy who had a comedy show.
Yeah. It began with an R. Can't remember. Test tube baby.
God, what is his name, man?
Robin Robin.
It ain't Robin.
Oh man, what is his name?
He's, Bernie Mac.
Oh no. No, what was his no,
Bernie
Bernie
Mac's the
that
one
wasn't Bernie
who
Mac. Robin Harris. I think it was Robin Harris.
sure, 'cause
And
Bernie
Robin
Mac
Harris
also talked about test tube babies and jokes.
yeah, yeah, Bernie Mac did say test tube babies too, but yeah, Robin Harris was what test tube baby. That might have been Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
Don't care if you're 5, they'll punch you in the throat.
So,
Still punch you in the milk and cookies.
yeah, so it was like you know, it was like straight Highlander back in the days in first edition,
Yes,
and you
yes,
always
you
had to
can be only
fight,
one.
and there was always these rules, like, you couldn't use magical weapons, and the DM would, like, enforce all this
Really?
stuff, and yeah.
Oh, no, you could use all that. You could use all you could it was the
I'm talking about
dependent
my
on what
DM
the
did that to me,
oh.
like, especially when I was a monk, because I had this, like, badass enchanted bow staff, so I'll save that for the monk story, but it was cool, and when I challenged as I was moving up, um, I wanna say I was around, like, 14th going on 15th. The 15th
Mhm.
goes, "We're gonna have trial by combat, no weapons." I looked at him, I was like, "What?" I go, "But I
You're like,
got my
"What?"
bow staff." And he's like,
I told you I have my bow staff,
and
all pouty face drinking your
you know,
soda.
and the DM just like he was getting role play, he's like, "We've all heard about your staff. Can't use it."
The crutch.
Yeah, so I basically had to earn it, man. I barely beat him.
Yeah, but you beat him and you earned
Yeah,
it, didn't you?
on the 3rd
Good
attempt.
crime.
That's a story for another day. Okay.
He said on the 3rd attempt.
You know, 2nd or 3rd. I know I didn't beat him the first time. I was all
Oh,
pissed.
that's funny.
I was
You're
like,
mad.
"I my staff, my bow
Told you I
staff,
want my bow staff.
my dragon bow
I told
staff."
you. Hashtag I told you. Oh
Alright,
shit.
we're almost done with this video, people. We're
All
about to
right.
do the wrap up.
Yeah,
Finish
we
these
need to
last
get our
charts.
shit together. It's like 10:30, man.
Oh, jeez.
All right,
So
so
much
I'm
for
gonna zip
45
through these
minutes.
experience points. Yeah, where we at?
I said so much for 45 minutes. Alright, finish up the
All right,
chart so we can
we're
go
at like
into
an
the
hour and
wrap
a
up.
half, aren't we?
Yep, something like that.
Oof. Okay, so XP up to 2000 is first level, one-sided one hit die, high level of aspirant. From 2001 to 4000, you're a second level with 2 hit dies, an Ovid. And then 4001 to 7500, third level, 3 hit die, initiate of the first circle. 7500 to 125 is fourth level, initiate of the second circle. 12.5 to 20,000 is fifth level, initiate of the third circle. 20,000 to 35,000, sixth level, initiate of the fourth circle. 35,000 to 60,000, seventh level, initiate of the fifth circle. 60,000 to 90,000, eighth level, initiate of the sixth circle. 90,000 to 125,000, ninth level, initiate of the seventh circle. 125,000 to 200,000, 10th level initiate of the 8th circle, and 200,000 to 300,000, 11th level initiate of the 12th circle, of 9th circle, I'm sorry. 300,000 to 750,000, that is a massive jump.
Yep.
You are a 12th level druid.
Now you're a druid.
700, yeah, now you're a druid after you get 500,000 XP. 750,000 to 1.5 million experience points. You have 13th level arc druid, and from 1.5 million and 1 XP, you are now a 14th level arc or the great druid.
Yeah.
Spells usable by class. First level, druids got 2 spells. That was the big thing about being a druid back in the day. You got 2 first level spells at first level. Second level, you get 2 first, 1 second.
Which was
Third
big.
level is, yeah, that's huge. And look at that, third level, you're already getting third level spells. Yeah, 3 first, 2 second, 1 third. Fourth is 4 first, 2 second, 2 third. Fifth is 4, 3, and 2. Sixth is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Seventh is 4, 4, 3, and 1. Eighth is 4, 4, 3, and 2. Ninth is 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 fifth level. 10th level is 5, 4, 3, 3, 2. 11th level 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, and 1 sixth. 12th level is 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, and 1 seventh. 13th is 6, 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, and 2. And 14th level is 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 4, and 3 7th level. So not quite as many as the cleric, but you still got a lot of other abilities.
Yeah.
Druids as a class do not dwell permanently in castles or even cities or towns. All druids prefer to live in sacred groves, dwelling in sod, log, or stone buildings of smaller size. When attaining levels above 11th, characters will generally inhabit building complexes, stand in woodlands, and similar natural surroundings.
All right, people.
Don't get no ideas of a castle. You're a druid.
Okay, so part 5 is, we're at the wrap up. Part 5 is going to be fighters, paladins, rangers. We're going to wrap it up with a druid story at an hour and 16 minutes after I said this would be a short video.
Jesus. Actually, that's not too bad. I thought it was going to be, I thought we were like 2 hours.
I honestly thought we could get this under an hour, but
yeah.
Whatever, story time, bitches. All right.
It's that damn Marcus, the Giant Slayer. Damn Marcus. No, my druid story, you know well, both my druid stories. I love the druid class now. Druid is kind of my favorite thing now. I love nature and all that kind of stuff. But I had Mr. Barris Bramblelocks. He was an odd character. Started out as a drow, but he was a hexblood from the Ravenloft book. So the hags took him and switched him around and messed them all up. So he was a druid mage, if I remember correctly. He was a multi-class.
Yeah, this was in the homebrew campaign.
Yeah. So I started a druid mage, and he was a vegetarian. He's very quirky. It was all about the nature. And I guess the main story we have is that they had been traveling through this adventure. They went in through this network of caves run by kobolds, and what else was in there? Was it goblins?
No, so
Ogres.
yeah, there was a what's the leader? Was it?
It was Glasseye, the kobold with the troll lover.
Yeah, that we told that story. Told that story. I have to like animate that one. But there were kobolds, but there were also the Dunger dwarves.
Oh, that's right.
They were trading merchants. Like there was a big story that went into it, but
yeah.
And then there were spiders and there were ogres because you had a fight on a ravine.
Ogre Howda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that guy fall.
So that's the background. They found real quick. Let me finish. Let me tell them. So they had found out that the kobolds were using this special glass goo to trap um, fairy creatures, and
Uh,
that's where we're gonna leave it
Little
and
fey
let.
creatures. Yeah, so these guys have been trapping my friends. So went in there and he was like, there's zero tolerance for these characters because they were killing. They had planned to send them away to this mage that we were looking for. We never did find that fool. We got to go back to that. But there was one point after they'd come out of the caves, they were going to the city of Whitebridge,
Yep.
and they ran across this merchant caravan. And the party's kind of like, oh, merchant caravan, we're heading there too. And I happen to look, and they have these wagons full of like lumber. And I'm like, lumber. I'm like, Ferris is like, where did you guys get all this lumber? They're like, oh, this grove over here. We went in there and had it chopped all down. I'm like, that sacred grove? And they're like, yeah, there was nobody there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man. So Barris, being the proper druid that he is, waited until the rest of the party went along their way to Whitebridge. Then he came back and exacted nature's revenge on the merchant caravans. Not I'm sorry, just the merchants, not the caravans or the guards or the teamsters and all that. Just the merchants, all left lying upon the pyres of the now burning logs, with their tongues on their chests and their mouths full of gold coin
I
as
remember
a
that.
warning. Remember that? Dude, he went hardcore, dude. He's like, yep, I cut out their tongues, I filled their mouth full of gold, and I put them on top of the logs of the sacred tree groves, and I light them all on fire. Nevertheless, Ferris turned out to be a wanted man in that part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, he did a good thing because they were chopping wood from the tranquil forest, and
That's right, the Shanko Forest. I couldn't remember the name.
you were not supposed to be chopping down wood. So
That is a no-no.
they would always just go to the edges and a little bit deep, and because these woods were so old and ancient, they had this rare wood that was only found in the tranquil
Mhm.
forest.
Was it Ghostwood or something?
And and they would use it because this is the wood that you would make, like, your exotic furniture from, you know?
Yeah, I forgot what it was called. It was like Ghostwood or something like that.
I don't know what I'd have to go back
I wrote it
on the
down
video.
somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "Whoa, they did not just chop down those
Yeah, they
trees."
did, like, they were all happy, they're like, "Don't tell nobody, hee hee."
Yeah. And then the rest of the party was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I said, "You go along your merry way." They didn't get it. I'm like, "I'm
Yeah,
a druid.
so we didn't even
I'm a
role
druid. I'm
play
a fey creature."
we didn't even role play what he did. I just said, "Just tell me what you wanna do," and it happened. You know, like, I wasn't
I
gonna
was
be
like,
like, "We're
"This
gonna
is"
roll for attacks and, roll to see if you get
right?
discovered."
I
I
was
just
like,
said,
"This is what I
"No,
do."
dude, what if this is what you wanna do, it will be done," you know?
So that caravan got to the city and, yeah, Ferris had to make an escape. He came back, though.
Another story for another day.
And
But no,
that's
that's a
another
good
druid story.
example of playing, to the Druid code
Uh,
of these
Militant
people.
druid, man.
Yeah, these people came in, chopped down wood from the sacred forest. Um, the village of, Michael had named it something like Aja or something like that. I don't like that
Yeah,
name.
Aja, yeah,
I didn't like that. I gotta find the Japanese word for
yeah.
healing, and I'm gonna change it to
Mhm.
that. Um, I am sorry. Um,
Like,
so
my world, huh?
it was part of the forest next to the mountain that had this sacred healing village in it, and the waterfall granted there was like the purest water, and that's what aided the trees, and
Uh,
we're already a long ago, but there were some magical reasons why these trees were special, along with the water that helped them make like healing potions that did additional hit dice for your healing. So whatever you rolled on the healing,
mhm.
it was either a D4 or plus D6 on, as they went up higher, on top of what you normally rolled. You got an extra dice because of that. And like in my world, in this part of this country, this place was renowned for its healing, and the village had been attacked, so a lot of resources. have been brought to try
of
to
your
find
game.
out what happened, and they were um, also aiding with that. So normally the Wood Elf Rangers who patrol the edges of the Tranquil Forest were all called in, and so they took advantage of that. Like they always like these merchants always send in little scouts and stuff, and have like mages who would like cast spells and have familiars fly through there and see what's going on, and if they could, they would chop down a tree or two real quick just so they could
Dedicated to it.
refill an
Gotcha.
order. But because
Mhm.
there was no major patrols for a few days, those people went to town. They chopped down like 10 trees or something crazy. Like they just had wagons full
It
of
it
this
went party
sacred
time.
lumber. Yeah, it wasn't just, hey, I just chopped down one tree at the edge of the
Yeah,
woods.
it was caravan full of wagons. I was like, "Oh, you crossed the line."
Yeah, so that's a good example of a druid plotting his revenge and suffering the consequences for it. Because I told him afterwards, I go, there are now wanted posters you're seeing going
Yeah.
up, and the party's like, what did you do, Eric?
Dude, they were all like, "What did you do?" I'm like, Paris is gonna disappear for a couple sessions until you guys leave the town."
Yeah, and then he switches real quick before we end this. He
Yeah,
switches a character because that's what brought about this whole thing. So when he told me
yeah.
he wanted to switch a character, I gave him the scenario where he could get an out, and that's when I came up with that idea.
Mhm.
And so he starts playing this Dragonborn mage or something,
Yeah, he was a Dragonborn,
and then go ahead. He was a Dragonborn what?
he he's a what was it, spell singer.
Yeah, so
He's
he
gonna
didn't
go
like
with the
that
mage.
after a few sessions. Wasn't
Well, he just didn't fit with the party, and I'd always planned to bring Paris back. Like,
Yeah,
that was part of my plan, but
I
just
didn't know
while we were
that.
in the city,
I did
yeah,
not know that.
while we were in the city, I was like, Paris probably it's gonna bring too much heat on the party, and the party see, because back then I knew how Thurman was too. I played many games. If somebody came looking for a fight, Thurman was not gonna back down.
Yeah.
And we had just started with that group. That was our first adventure with that group, so I was like, we want to kind of hold off, so I didn't want to cause any
Yeah.
undue heat.
So,
Yeah, he came
I
back
have a
at the
recording
village.
of Eric doing kabuki theater and playing role playing like two different characters and changing his voice. And it was funny. Like I was like, did
that
you
was
like write that
that was
stuff
pretty
down? Did
funny,
you
dude.
prepare for that?
Yeah, I had it in my head,
Yeah.
but I was kind of like as we went, I'm like, ooh, because they were in that village. Remember, they were in the village with that crazy willow magic tour guy.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things.
Remember
But
that?
yeah, so
Yeah, but yeah,
there
I
I'm
had
gonna
that. I was like,
find
oh, okay.
I need to find that clip, break it up.
I forgot about that,
That,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that
was
was
changing
funny, dude. I was
voices in
laughing so
between.
hard. Yeah.
I was going back and forth. Everybody's like, "What the hell is? Do you have two people there?"
Yeah. So that's the Druid story. I wanted to leave at one story for Eric, where I was hoping he'd have a cleric story too, but I'm not gonna tell a Druid story
Yeah, I
because
forgot about that. I have two
um
druid stories. That's it.
yeah. So we're at an hour and a half, but here's the thing: Dungeons and Dragons. What makes this game so great and why it's the best role playing game, period. I know we're all pissed off at Wizards of the Coast right now, but that has
The
nothing to do
name
with
should
Dungeons and
the
Dragons.
name should that shall not be spoken.
Yeah, that has nothing. Hasbro Wizards of the Coast is not Dungeons and Dragons. Never has been. Never will be.
Right.
What makes D&D great are the stories that Eric and I are telling. Are your stories that you tell your friends to go, eating at
Yeah, because I mean, how
Applebee's or
many times have you
whatever.
gone out? Yeah, you meet out with your friends, your D&D friends, even outside the game. You're like, "Oh, remember that one time
Yep,
we were
that's
doing
it.
this and this and this?"
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like that was a cool campaign. Like, what are we playing next, or what are we doing? And that's Dungeons and Dragons. It's you and a group of people that eventually will become friends, even if you haven't met these people before. But kind of form a little bond. Unless you're playing like Adventure League or you meet somewhere in a like Gen Con. But other than that, you will. most likely make one friend out of the group,
Mhm.
and that's D and
Yep.
D. It's like just having a fun game, you and a group of people, and just playing an adventure, and just having a chance to explore characters and personalities, and to be the hero of your own made up story. So with that, we're gonna end it with that. I know Dallas is off about. That's why
And she, dude, the
Mi-
last one's ran an hour and a half. She's like, I'm
yeah,
done with
Minion
you.
was howling like, this is already gonna
Minion,
be
yeah,
late. That's why he's probably
Minion
howling.
was yelling at us.
He's like,
She's
it's
like,
gonna
I'm
be
done,
late.
Mama.
It's
I hate
already
you, babe.
gonna be an hour.
I hate you so much. He snuck back down here. I saw him peeking at me from the couch. I hate you,
You're,
fool.
like you're still recording. Stop. All
Stop
right.
it. I'm trying to sleep.
All right. With that, people, um, as you can hear, I'm still under the weather, but I want to do the Lord Soth video, and
Yes, we still gotta do Lord Soth and we got Takesis to do.
yeah,
So
we still
hopefully
got
we'll get
that.
a
Yeah, hopefully next week
good
we
day. We'll get a
can.
couple videos in.
Yeah, and but no matter what, we're gonna be doing one D&D video a week of like the main, and that's right now. That's the Player's Handbook. So I hope you guys are
Yeah.
enjoying the series. And with that, people, take it easy.
You guys.